His column, Broncos need to send John Elway to showers and hire Peyton Manning as director of football operations, certainly caught my eye. Mark Kiszla here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Mark?
I'm good, Rich. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. That is quite the headline and quite the column you wrote, Mark. Why do you feel this way?
Well, at the risk of sounding like I'm going to deliver a football eulogy, let me say that John Elway has his name on ribeye steaks at his restaurant in this town. And he has his name on SUVs at car dealerships in this town. He's not, like you said, he's been here since 1983. Every Super Bowl championship, nearly every piece of success the Broncos have had since 1983 can be tied directly to John Elway. He's not only the face of the Denver Broncos, he's the face of Denver, Colorado. He's the Duke of Denver. He got here in his early 20s out of Stanford. He turns 60 next year. I mean, who does that anywhere in sports? We're talking an entire generation that he defines the Broncos in this town. It's been a great run, but it's over. The man is fresh out of ideas, and it happens. It happens to the best of them. He eventually had to retire as a quarterback, and he's not doing the job as general manager anymore. And for your national audience, that's not even that crazy of notion here in Denver, Colorado anymore. The reaction to my column today within the city, now we're talking social media, and as you well know, social media is usually louder and more passionate than absolutely accurate and reasoned.
Yes.
But it's 85% in my corner. I mean, it's not, if I'd written this 3 years ago, it would have been 107% against me.
Mm-hmm. But the fact is that public opinion has soured, and obviously what's happened over the last couple of years. Has he, what part of his fastball do you think might not be as fast anymore, Mark?
The number one job of a general manager is to, in my opinion, is to restock your team, build your team through the NFL draft. And he has been very poor at that. I can throw out any number of ideas. From 2013 to 2015. Now, that's the time when the Broncos are at the top of the heap, so they're drafting at the back end of every single round. So I give John Elway that. There are three drafts, 2013 to 2015. Those players right now are in their mid to late 20s. If they're starters, they should be in their prime. In those three drafts, the Broncos have one player on the current roster, one player. And if that creates a great big hole in your roster, and it not only a great big hole, it creates many, many holes. And that's why the Broncos are 18-32 in their last 50 games.
The Denver Post, Mark Kiszla here on the Rich Eisen Show. And then so let's get to the second part of your fix, if you will, sending John Elway to the showers or having him leave in his leadership role and putting Peyton Manning in. Do you think he would do something like that, Mark?
I do not know. I mean, I wrote a book about Peyton Manning's time in Denver.
Yep.
And at one point I had a chat with somebody that worked with him as an actor, and it was a TV director, and he said, Peyton, you know, if you want to be an actor after your football career, you can take Hollywood by storm. And Peyton basically let him know, I don't want to be an actor. I want to own the movie studio. So maybe being the director of football operations is not a big enough job for Peyton Manning. Maybe he wants to own the Indianapolis Colts or be king of the world. And I wouldn't put that past him either.
Well, I guess then wouldn't, if this is something he would do, wouldn't it be the same issue that you might have with Elway as somebody who's played the game but hasn't really essentially put a team together, being put in charge, Mark? Or you just want anything to be done right now. It's been so bad.
No. Something has to be done, and that's not a fan reaction. It's. I just mentioned 18-32. Mike Shanahan, two-time Super Bowl champion coach, greatest coach in Broncos history. In his last 50 games, before he was fired, he was 26-24. As Von Miller said after the game last night, there's a very high standard here. And it's not easy being John Elway trying to maintain that standard, and that standard hasn't been maintained. John Lynch, who spent time in Denver, the Niners are doing okay, and John Lynch came out of a television booth. So did Matt Millen. That didn't work out so well. So I understand this, that if Peyton Manning were running this operation, I think he would surround himself with great football people, and he might have a general manager under him. If John Elway is going to be involved in this organization next year, I think he's going to get a very strong suggestion from Joe Ellis, the president of this organization, that, hey, John, you have to change the people around you. You have to bring in strong football people around you, and whether he is willing to do that or not, I don't know.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live, or download The Rich Eisen Show app.